are now tuned in to this week's episode of our podcast. Today, we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. By sharing our collective expertise, we will show you how to harness, control, and use your own skill set to achieve ultimate success and live the life you want. And now, please welcome your host.
Here is Dorothy from Start My Brand today. How are you? Welcome to our premiere first episode of season 2 of Marketing Talkie. Again, the video flipping.
Isn't that fun?
We start season 2 with wonderful guests, and we hope that you follow us for great tips. I would like to introduce to you our wonderful guest, Laura Barker. And Laura is LinkedIn trainer who's specializing in the helping for the business owners in the LinkedIn trainings, which is leading her to help them to achieve their goals and to be better in their businesses. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you for having me, Dora. This is a real honor to be on your the launch of your brand new podcast. Fantastic.
I am so happy because you are on our premiere episode, and I could not imagine better guest for that. And we are very happy to have you with us. Laura is a wonderful person, and she will explain to you today the basic tips about the LinkedIn platform. Laura, how come did you become a LinkedIn trainer, first of all?
That's a great question. Thank you. It's kind of a roundabout story, but about 8 or 9 years ago, and so I actually have several businesses. I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I realized about, like I said, 8, 9 years ago, that I really wanted to expand my reach, right? I wanted to be able to have a broader geographical reach to talk to folks about my business. And I had done tons of, local, in-person, that's what we did in the day, right? Networking out there, doing it, talking to people, not, getting to know our business owners. Well, I wanted to, like I said, reach out more, and it hit me one day like a Mack truck that here was LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I had a profile, sure, like everybody, right? But I wasn't using it. I realized it sort of looked like a resume, and I wasn't looking for a job. So,
like all of us, we have kind of resumes, right?
Right. So what I decided, I thought it just like I said, it hit me. This is the only quote social media platform that is just for business, and I thought I am not using this effectively. So I decided to, for me, to understand it at a really deep level. I spent thousands of dollars, thousands of hours, tons of time and energy, really getting into the weeds. And from that effort, which really I spent about a year getting up to getting into it. Yeah. And from that effort, I created a system for myself to get more business, right? And it worked.
Yep.
It worked.
Yeah. You know what? I often even hear from the business owners, which already have the businesses, if they even may to be on LinkedIn. What's your thoughts about that one as the expert?
Right. So it is actually, in today's world, absolutely critical to be on LinkedIn because, so referencing back to kind of expand on what I was saying just a second ago ties into this, in that once I had created a system that worked for me, I shared it with my sales team.
Yep.
And it worked for them. So it was just for us, right? But then over time, people began to see that, like, I would just, answer networking questions about LinkedIn or whatever. And people began to ask me, well, are you a trainer? And I was thinking to myself, well, I guess I am. But I hadn't really...
in a certain way, with experience like that one, you are, right?
Right. So yes. So do people need to be on LinkedIn? Here's the deal. Here's the reality, especially since COVID.
Yeah, it's the basic. Without the LinkedIn now at this time, the company not exist in certain way, right?
That's exactly
it's
right.
strange.
When people are looking for what you do, your industry, your type of services, or even you specifically, here's the reality. Even if you think you don't have a website yet, you do, and it's called LinkedIn. It
Yes.
will show up on those searches, right? And so we get only one chance to make a first impression, right?
It's the most wonderful platform regarding the networking, business connections, and it's already proven by many people, and all of the businesses should be there.
But it can make or break you, because
yeah.
if you aren't paying attention, if your LinkedIn profile isn't optimized, if you don't know how to navigate on it, when you come up in those searches, and they will look at your LinkedIn before they go to your website, even if you have one, because they know your website is a sales page.
Yes, they check both.
Absolutely, they'll go to both for sure. But they definitely go to your LinkedIn, and if it is not professional, they're going to write you off. You lose credibility.
Yeah, because they see, right? It's professional platform, right? Like everywhere, and our presence counts. If our profile there is unprofessional, it's normal that our company seems the same way, right?
Absolutely. Laura, it would be like not having a website back in the day, right? It's like you're not a real business if you don't have a website.
You are not visible at all.
Right. And you're not a real business if you're not on LinkedIn. I mean, that's kind of like an unwritten thing, right? But people expect you. If you're a real business, they expect to be able to find you on LinkedIn.
Especially if you think that your business is serious one, right? It's certainly you either.
Yeah. If it's not a hobby, if it's a real business.
Yeah, it's real business.
Be on LinkedIn.
Indeed. Laura, we all know that education is important, right? I would like to ask you how the Berker Business Solution educates. Can you share this with us?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question, because anybody who follows me on LinkedIn would already know this. I believe in sharing information. I believe in educating people on how to use LinkedIn, but also on business strategies. So I have on my business page, there will be posts, just in general about, hey, there's a new feature you might want to know about, right? Or have you considered this in your business planning? Things that people can read quickly, get some actionable information, and start improving and tweaking. I read a funny statistic, and I may not have the number 100% right, so bear with me on this, but NASA, they have to get it right. They can't.
They always right.
Right? They cannot, they just launched the JW telescope last year, and it is 1 million miles from Earth. It's not like Hubble, where they could actually go up there and make repairs. They can't repair this thing. If it doesn't work, that is, oh my gosh, billions upon billions of dollars and hours and gone. Now, how do you possibly prepare for that and create, right? We all want our businesses to be excellent. Well, having a business of excellence means course correction all the time, right?
Yeah, all the
and that's
time.
What NASA did. That's what NASA does. The statistic was like a course correction every 3 seconds. I mean, it was insane, right? As they were building. So I don't mean in the flight. I mean before they ever launched it, right? So everything was tested and tweaked to the point that when it got up there 1 million miles away, nothing failed. Everything worked. Now, I'm not ever going to be NASA and that good. Right?
Yeah, you do.
But I can aspire to understanding that business also has to be responsive and do course correction, right? So for example, if you're on LinkedIn and promoting your business or your brand, or really anywhere, right? But you're not getting traction. Well,
you should at least. At least you should work a lot to have it, right? It's normal.
Right. And you want to make those
time changing.
Right. You want to make those corrections, right? So that's part of my goal in educating folks, right? We got to course correct. Here's some ideas. Try this. Look at that. I'm always sharing. And then I have some other resources that people can tap into if they really are serious about their LinkedIn presence and growing it there. So I offer a series of classes and courses that focus on different aspects of LinkedIn. Some are an overview to help folks get started. Kind of depends on what your needs are, but I have that available for folks. I also do one-on-one consulting with people. You know, sometimes rather than take a course, people would rather just get that one-on-one instruction, or maybe they just have a project they need help on, right? So I also can help educate them in that way. And then I also, I found about, I don't know, God, has it been a while now, almost a year, I guess. I realized I could really help people to move the needle in their business with ongoing support. How many times have you done something, watched a class, taken a video or whatever, understood it, gone to implement it, and hit a roadblock?
You know what, Laura, one-to-one is necessary, in my opinion, as the business owner myself, just because all of us, we came from different industries, and you know, if you do the master class, it's much more general. Some of us, because we have different types of businesses, we need this specific one-on-one because we need specific directions. We cannot have the same directions like the other ones.
Absolutely. And
you know
I was just going to share one other thing. So what I discovered that I could really support a lot of people with is what I call my LinkedIn GPS cohort. So this is an ongoing program. People can come in, get out, come back, kind of, it's very flexible. But what it gives folks access to is an on-demand training library. So maybe there's just one aspect of LinkedIn they need help on, well, they can go right to it. Then it also gives them an all-access pass to every masterclass I do. So they don't have to come to all of them. They can just pick and choose what makes sense. They can also get what we call laser coaching.
In fact, Laura, I know that you have a special gift for our viewers today. Can you tell us about it, please?
I do. Thank you for mentioning that, because it is all about education, and I am all about sharing some really good information, right? So what I have created is a guide to effective LinkedIn profiles, to highly effective LinkedIn profiles. So, you know, whether you are just getting started on LinkedIn and maybe aren't sure how to develop your profile
at the start, especially,
they can do that's a great resource for people. The other thing that I have found is that even for folks who are, you know, experienced on LinkedIn, sometimes all of us need kind of a back to basics check, right? We can get down rabbit holes and kind of forget the basics sometimes. So
especially the professionalists, especially after certain time needed.
Absolutely. And so it's a nice resource for even experienced users to just sort of take stock and go, oh yeah, I get away from that. Do I need to look at that again? Right. So it's just, I hope that it is a great resource for people. I know a lot of folks have found it very useful. If anybody wants to take advantage of that, it's super simple.
All right.
All they have to do is just go to my website, which is barkerbusinesssolutions.com. When you go to that website, you will immediately see an opportunity to get that guide. And I'm going to say it again. So it's Barker, and that's my last name, which is BARKER, businesssolutions.com. Now, it does end up having 3 S's in the middle of it.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Right? So if that looks weird to you when you put it in, it's right. Barker Business Solutions. businessowner.com. So,
Oh my good. This is wonderful gift, Laura. And I think that many business owners will appreciate that one. I will also include the details, in the description of our podcast in case if somebody will lose the information. Can happen.
May I share one other thing too?
Sure, of course.
I would love to invite your viewers or listeners to connect with me on LinkedIn. And it's Laura Barker JD on LinkedIn, and that JD is for attorney. That means Juris Doctor, because I am an attorney by trade, but I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and I know, Dora, you can put the LinkedIn.
Sure, I will put every details in the description, and I think that all of our listeners, viewers will connect with you because you are a wonderful person, wonderful expert in what you are doing, and for sure the gift from you will be very, very appreciated by our viewers. Laura.
So happy to be able to have this time with you today.
It was wonderful to have you as the guest of my premiere episode. I'm so super excited, super happy that you found the time for that one. And I think that we will soon see on another episode of podcast because everything's changing. Also other platforms, LinkedIn changed also a lot. And for sure we will meet very soon again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.